This is actually insane. We're re-evaluating Battle Pass progression. Additionally, we're evaluating where we are distributing Battle Pass XP for this season. We'll be adding more Battle Pass XP to PvP matches, increasing the XP to 50, up from 10 for a win, and 25 up from 5 for a loss. Wow. That's huge. That's insane. A lot of people have been asking for that since from the jump, and they actually listened and they're going ahead and doing that. 10 was way too low. 50 is great. It's going to cut down on a lot of time and help out a lot of people. This is why it pays off to be very critical and provide concise, effective feedback. PlayerFirstGames just released a massive tweet series talking about updates that are coming to the game for MultiVersus patches that won't necessarily be in one big bulk. It's progressive things that they're actively working on and will be releasing over time, but there's a lot of things in here I think a lot of people are absolutely going to love, specifically things that I've been seeing mentioned across Twitter, in my comments, across all kinds of forums and pages. Glad to see that they really are announcing this out loud so we have an idea of what to expect, and there's a lot to get into, so we're going to jump right into it, guys. So hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any other updates. Now that the game's in Unreal Engine 5, it's seemingly easier for them to fix certain issues without breaking the game. Now, it's not perfect, and eventually things will get to that point, I hope, but this is a great start. Help rate's at 38%, even higher, and now let's get into this video. Shout outs to the PlayerFirstGames official Twitter page. They tweeted out MVPs. Thank you for the continued feedback. We appreciate it. We wanted to give everyone an update on areas that we've been working on for MultiVersus. Current priorities for the team include improving Xbox performance, absolute 1000%. It's horrible for people on Xbox, but also being matched up against somebody that is on Xbox. Can't tell you how many times, 3 times in a row, I was matched against somebody on Xbox, and I just knew in the back of my mind, at any moment, this could desync and crash for us, and sure enough, it happened. More so in 2v2s, unfortunately. Lowering match desync rates, removal of some gameplay loops that had little counterplay. A patch is coming soon that should be a good step in the right direction for addressing these 3 issues. Now, when they're talking about gameplay loops, I assume they're talking about the combo loops where some characters are basically able to just jab, jab, forward dash, jab, jab, forward dash, lock you in. Joker is a big culprit of that. Shaggy previously had that, doesn't anymore. They unfortunately broke Shaggy's Nair because of it, but they said that they're going to be fixing that in the next patch. Wonder Woman also has a crazy loop as well, and I'm glad that they announced this because now I'm going to hold off on doing any guides because I don't want to make any information or any video on something that's going to be unfortunately outdated, especially something gameplay related, right? On top of this, we're working on and testing the following features, which we know are important to players. We'll share updates on each as they become available. Spectator and custom games, huge for tournaments in general. Free-for-all queues, setting to swap neutral and forward attacks. I am surprised that it's taking them much longer to get this setting in the game, because that was there in the original first beta, and the most important setting for me personally because of the way that I played. I personally like to jab with my right bumper, and after landing an aerial attack, switching to that just naturally felt really good. On certain characters, I have been able to kind of manipulate or like work my brain in a way to not make that mistake anymore, but I still find myself doing it from time to time, so I hope that comes sooner than later. But man, surprised it's still not here. Free-for-all queue is huge, and there's a lot of people that don't necessarily like the 2v2 format and would just like to clap everybody's cheeks and be the undisputed #1 champ. Setting to turn off team colors, we need that badly, man, because while we have been able to turn off our particular outline, the enemy outline being completely shaded in red is really silly. And at this point, I think most players are adapted enough to in order to see which character is theirs and not get lost in a scuffle. Setting to adjust input buffers is another big thing that was also in the beta. End of game stats, allowing players to keep their party together when going from PvP rifts to PvE and back again. That's pretty good. Replay button for rifts and PvE to immediately begin a node again. Yeah, I mean, completing rifts can take some time, especially if you fail on the higher difficulties. Things can get a little bit tedious, having to go back out and then back in and go through the entire loading process again. So that should have been there from the beginning, but I'm glad that, again, this is a lot of stuff that's being mentioned in here. A lot of feedback is being thrown at them, and they're addressing it right here of what we can expect. Dedicated neutral dodge button setting. That's actually pretty cool. I would like to set my L2 button, my left trigger, to a neutral dodge, so this way, because there's a lot of times where I want to go for the parry, but I'm moving the left stick. So if you have a dedicated neutral dodge button, it doesn't matter if you're moving the left stick. You can just hit that button to prime a parry. So I like that a lot. That's actually going to help out a lot in neutral, especially. And a big one right here, right after that, camera adjustments for 1v1 matches. There we go. So for 1v1 matches, the camera does get a little too close, particularly for characters like Velma and Arya. It's very hard to locate your items or certain elements of your moves, like Arya's knife. And why I say Velma, like anybody's actually playing Velma. Hopefully one of their patches does fix Velma. So hate to see a character not being played, but that's really good. Being able to adjust the camera for 1v1s is awesome. 2v2s, the camera doesn't seem to be too big of a deal because of how many characters are on the screen. The camera by default is zoomed out a little bit more, so that's a great option to see that that's coming to 1v1, because I've seen that's been a big complaint for a lot of people, and providing that customizability aspect to give people the option, that's a major dub. Ranked mode, we wanted a bit more time to get our balancing right before unleashing ranked. I get that, because there are some characters that do have infinite. Iron Giant had to be removed from the game. They don't want to release ranked without Iron Giant being in the game, and also getting rid of these insane loops that some characters can pull off. So ultimately balancing is a priority before they drop ranked mode. I get it. I will say top dog leaderboards, not it. If you literally just wait until the very last moment of the day to do your top dog match, you'll get put into a leaderboard of essentially people that barely played the game, and then you can just cheese that to go up really high in the rankings. So they got to rework that. Ultimately, ranked mode will be coming to the game when the game's in a much better place, much more balanced area. So hopefully that is sooner than later. This is actually insane. We're re-evaluating Battle Pass progression. Additionally, we're evaluating where we are distributing Battle Pass XP for this season. We'll be adding more Battle Pass XP to PvP matches, increasing the XP to 50, up from 10 for a win, and 25 up from 5 for a loss. Wow. That's huge. That's insane. A lot of people have been asking for that since from the jump, and they actually listened and they're going ahead and doing that. 10 was way too low. 50 is great. It's going to cut down on a lot of time and help out a lot of people. And it's something that they're planning to do this season. Actually shocked by that. Thank you. We will be evaluating and making additional adjustments for season 2. Going forward, we will ensure that all PvE rifts can have access to rewards without having to be forced to play co-op. It'll get you there faster if you do play co-op though. That's a big issue too right now, where a lot of people they don't have people to play with, especially in like co-op settings, to get that final points to finish off the rift. I haven't even done a co-op rift myself. Not that I don't have anybody to play with, but in general, it's not something that I'm actively going for right now, at least until we have enough to get Agent Smith, or enough is available to get Agent Smith. On the balance front, our goal is always to make every character fun to play, as with and against. So we'll be continuing to tune and balance each fighter to provide the best possible gameplay experience. They are absolutely talking about Gizmo and Wonder Woman right there. Gizmo and Wonder Woman are just the most played characters right now, at the top of everybody's list. Very strong characters. I'm a Wonder Woman main myself, so seeing her getting tuned down is no big deal to me. I think that she has a very solid kit, very solid fundamentals that regardless of whatever changes they make, she's still going to be very good and fun to use. I don't think that she could ever drop lower than an A-tier character, because she is the fundamentally sound and easiest character to pick up and play in this game. Outside of Shaggy, of course. I don't believe in nerfing characters in the way that they did like Velma, basically making them borderline useless. I think that if they do nerf Wonder Woman, they would do it within reason. And also, instead of just nerfing her and not touching anybody else, they should absolutely buff other characters that are either not played as much or have a harder time executing and getting wins, in order to get more people to play as and enjoy them. I think ultimately that's what most fighting games should do. I'm always been a firm believer in buffs over nerfs, this way to get more player representation and more people to enjoy those characters. Nerfs, obviously, when things are just breaking games and inescapable and absolutely clapping everybody's cheeks. Keep in mind, timing for adding features and implementing fixes could shift based on testing and other factors, but we wanted to give a quick preview of our current priorities. So there we go. That is the current priorities of PlayerFirstGames when it comes to MultiVersus. I gotta say, the Battle Pass XP changing from 10 XP to 50 and 5 to 25, that is huge. Dedicated neutral dodge button setting, a parry button, essentially a parry button. Really good, especially for players like me who are just way too fidgety, constantly pressing buttons and moving around. I mistime a lot of my parries because of the left analog stick, so having a dedicated dodge button is a huge deal for me. A big one for the 1v1 camera adjustments, absolutely huge. I don't think anybody has a complaint there. Turning off team colors, input buffers, and game stats, spectator free-for-all, Xbox performance, desync rates, gameplay loops, etc. These are all very good patch notes, very good changes. If you don't see a change here that you guys absolutely want to see or expected to see, please comment them down below. I'll do my best to even reach out to the team and say, hey, this is a big deal. I think this should be priority. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, because ultimately, while this team does put the player first, it's up to us as a community to provide the valuable feedback if things are not running the way that they should be, or things are a little bit too crazy. And that's a beautiful thing that I love about this game and its community, is that we all essentially have a voice and we all have an opportunity to not necessarily make changes at will, but come together when something is amiss and effectively express our points in a proper way in order to get things to change. There's not a lot of games at all that you essentially can do that, where our voice is actually being heard and listened to. So again, I appreciate PlayerFirstGames for this. I know that the community, the fans, and myself as well, like, are not happy with the way certain things are in the game, and it's glad that they're acknowledging that. And I'm also really glad to see that they're actively trying to give us updates and let us know what the priorities are, what will be changing, and that they're open to listening to every single possible change. It's a great W, I think. Oh, another change they also mentioned too, this was earlier today, they were a little too strict with the starter daily login event. They made it so that players need to log in every single day in order to claim their rewards. They learned from the first event, and future login events will have more leeway if days are missed and not penalize you for missing a day. So ultimately, that's a great change too. Mistakes are going to happen. Things are not going to be perfect, but I'm glad that PlayerFirstGames is able to admit when they fucked up and actively make an announcement saying that, hey, we're going to be fixing this. Don't worry. If there are any things that need to be adjusted or changed, please let them know. So GG's. Guys, again, comment down below. What other changes do you want to see? What are some things that they are missing? I want to help you guys get these things heard. Sound off. Let's get a discussion below. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More MultiVersus videos are on the way and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.